finally at the bye week, and I feel like we all needed this break. The fans, the players, the coaches, everybody. And I swear I still can't believe we're 2-11 at this point, even though we had the most difficult record in the league. Even though we had Joe Shane coming back and Brian Dable and Shane Bowen, as we had such a good free agency period. We had such a good draft. We had such a good preseason. I felt like with all of the reasons that we were given early on before the first game of the season, we would not be at 2-11, yet here we are. I wake up on Monday mornings and I look at the score and I'm like, how are we here again? And I just want Mara to fire everybody, the GM, the head coach, the coordinators, the water boy, get them all out. Actually, I'm okay with the water boy. And maybe even Mike Kafka as the offensive coordinator. But we'll get into that in a minute. It's perfectly natural to feel this way. I mean, as fans, we just sick of losing. But here's the problem with burning it all down. When you do that, you usually end up standing in the ashes with nothing to build from. And today, I want to propose we take a different path. One that gives us the discipline of a Hall of Fame coach. Don't burn it all down. Tear it down to the studs. But don't burn it all down. Because the one thing the Giants has going for them, the one thing that has actually worked for them all year and should not be touched, is this offense. Welcome back, everybody, to the NYG Blue Zone. It's your boy Attikis. Today, I want to talk about the purple unicorn scenario. This is my dream scenario. This is if I had the reins, if I was the one pushing the buttons and moving the levers, what I would do with the New York Football Giants. My dream scenario. Different people going to have different perspectives, and that's okay. Some people are going to think, yeah, that won't work, what you talking about. Some people might agree with me, but this is my dream scenario, and it's okay if you disagree. Just hear me out, though. So I'm going to cover 3 things in this show. First thing I'm going to do is discuss some of the hard truths of the 2025 season. This was rough. We have been historically bad in the fourth quarter. Second thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to show you guys some cold, hard statistics on why I think Mike Kafka, if at all possible, should remain our offensive coordinator. Third thing I want to talk about is all these Mike Tomlin rumors. And there's 3 names that I'm thinking he could bring to fix our defense. But before I get into all of that, guys, I'm 153 subscribers short of 1,000. We have grown this channel. We get a lot of engagement. I appreciate all the comments. If you are new and you like our content, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. So every time we drop some new content, you're one of the first ones to be notified. We appreciate you guys. Now, I want to start off with some of the ugly truths. And we got to be honest about what we've seen so far this season. It's been rough. The season started off real rough, right? Then it turned bright and exciting. I mean, Russell Wilson lighted it up in Dallas. And then it got ugly with Kansas City. And then it got bright with the Chargers. Then it got ugly. Then it got bright against the Eagles. Then it just got ugly and uglier. And now it's just plain awful. So here are some of the ugly realities that we have had to live with this year. First thing is, and I think sometimes we forget, but we got a $22 million ghost, y'all, some dead cap money. We are currently carrying over $22 million in dead cap for, remember, what was his name? What was his name? Do y'all remember? Daniel Jones. Right now, we are paying him more money to not play for us, but to lead the Indianapolis Colts into what might be a playoff run than we are currently paying both Brian Burns and Bobby Okereke. Can you imagine? I mean, when you look at the lack of depth in our secondary, the lack of depth in our middle linebacker positions, and you wonder why we have none, that's where the money went. That's dead cap money that we're paying Daniel Jones, who's running another team. Remember, we had him playing fourth team scout safety, and now he's leading his team into the playoffs. That's on Joe Shane. Point two, fourth quarter collapses. This is the one that I tell you, it still keeps me up some nights. And it's unfortunate that I give that much energy to these New York Football Giants, but I do. But this is unbelievable that we have allowed 123 points in only the fourth quarter this season. That is by far the most in the NFL. I mean, we competitive for the entire game and winning for 57 minutes, and then somehow we find a way to collapse. Point three is the Broncos' nightmare. I mean, we witnessed history this year, y'all. Week 7 against Denver, we gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter alone. That's an NFL record for the most points allowed in a single quarter by a team that was shutting out their opponent. 19-0 lead, poof, gone. Point four, winless in November. Guys, we haven't won a game since October 9th against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, granted, it was belt to ass. You had Cam Scatterbull and Jackson Dart out there putting on a clinic. I think Zach Bond ankle still sore from that game. But after that, we went 0-4. We lost to the Niners. We lost to the Bears. We lost to the Packers. We lost to the Lions in typical New York Giants heartbreaking fashion. And this is one of the reasons, in addition to that terrible press conference that he gave, these are some of the reasons that Joe Shane has to go. The roster depth just isn't there to finish games. But does that mean everybody has to go? I don't think so. And this is where some of you guys might disagree with me, and that's okay. But stay with me for a second. Stop looking at the 0-3 record as the interim head coach. Don't look at that for a minute. Look at Mike Kafka as the guy who's been calling the offense. And I said this before. Those first 2 games, he was evaluating Shane Bowen as his DC. He made the call. He was not the guy. And he released him and elevated Charlie Bullen. Clearly that didn't work out going against the New England Patriots, who were 10-2 and just very good. But let's look at Mike Kafka and how he's been calling the offense. So I compared this season right now with Kafka calling the plays to last season when Brian Dable took the play calling duties back from Kafka. And the numbers just don't lie. Let's look at the yards. In 2024, under Dable, we averaged 294 yards per game. We were 30th in the league. We were moving in mud, stuck in quicksand. It was treacherous. This year, we're averaging over 340 yards a game. And that's a 45-yard jump every single week. That's production. We're 14th in the league in offense this year. That's the upper half of the NFL. That's noteworthy to go from 30th to the upper half. We're moving the ball better. And we're moving the ball better than some of these teams that are headed to the playoffs. Look at the scoring. Last year, 16.1 points per game. This year, we're over 21 points per game. That's a 5-point improvement. That's almost a full touchdown better every single Sunday. And Kafka is doing this with Jackson Dart, who was in concussion protocol, brought in his backup, Jameis Winston, after sitting Russell Wilson. And he's manufacturing these points with backup pieces. He's been missing Malik Neighbors all year. He's got Cam Scatterbull, who went down with a broken ankle or just a horrific lower leg injury. So what am I seeing? What am I thinking? If we fire Kafka, we have the potential to flush a top 15 offense down the drain. I don't think I want to do that. I mean, do we really want Jackson Dart to learn a whole new system, a whole new playbook if he doesn't have to? And I mean, I don't doubt that he can handle it, but if we can prevent that, maybe we should. Personally, I'd prefer to keep him in the same system because he is flourishing in this system. So, how do we keep Kafka but fix the discipline? That's where we enter Mike Tomlin. And I know y'all saying, ain't he under contract with the Steelers? Yeah. He just renewed his contract for another 3 years in 2024, that is. So he's under contract till 2027. But if there's a mutual parting of ways between Tomlin and the Steelers, I think he deserves a strong look. And there's a lot of smoke coming out of there. My wife is from Pittsburgh, and her whole family, that whole region, I got to tell you, they got an impressive and loyal fan base. And when I go out there, all you see is Pittsburgh everything. They are Pittsburgh Steeler fans through and through. And they're not happy with Mike Tomlin. I keep telling them, you're going to be really disappointed if you get rid of Tomlin and you go through what the Giants have been going through looking for a head coach. But it's real. The talk is real about them being frustrated with him as a head coach. And I guess to a degree, I get it. He wins a lot of regular season games. He's never had a losing season. But come playoff time, he doesn't finish. Okay. All right. Maybe he hasn't had all the right pieces in Pittsburgh to get him there. I mean, I look at Kenny Pickett. I never saw the potential in him. I look at Mason Rudolph. I never thought that Mason Rudolph was going to be the answer for them. Aaron Rodgers is there now. He old as dirt. He's good. But come on, man. You ain't going nowhere with Aaron Rodgers. He too old. And I look at what they did with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I understand why they aren't going much further than a good regular season. But when you got a quarterback like Jackson Dart, a running back like Cam Scatterboo, a running back room, let me not just say Cam Scatterboo because that room is solid. A wide receiving core that we got is solid. The tight end room that we got is solid. I don't think you cannot look at Mike Tomlin, right? So the media is also picking up on this. They're talking about maybe Mike Tomlin won't be the Steelers head coach moving forward. Ben Roethlisberger on his podcast said maybe it's time for a fresh start. Why is he the perfect fit to me? Because history tells me he is the guy who wins. And the reason I brought up Kafka staying as the OC, Mike Tomlin is the guy who keeps coordinators. Think about this. Back in 2007, when he took over as the head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he didn't fire everybody. He kept Dick LeBeau to run his defense. He kept Bruce Arians to run his offense. He don't have an ego that says, I need my guys. He says, I need to win. Tomlin runs his team like a CEO. He handles the media well. He would be a perfect fit in New York. He handles the discipline. You won't see him showing up to late press conferences like Joe Shane, and it'll be a well-oiled machine. And I think he'll let Kafka stay in his lab and keep designing some of those plays that we've been seeing. And Kafka been doing his thing offensively. I personally think it's the perfect marriage, for lack of better words. You got the disciplinarian in Tomlin, and you got an innovator in Kafka. I like it. Personally, I like it. And then the missing piece are the defensive coordinator candidates. If Tomlin comes here, who's he going to have run a defense? Because we know what we have isn't working. And granted, Charlie Bullen's only been here for a week, and he was put through one of the most difficult tests you can imagine to start as the interim DC. But who would Tomlin pick? We know he's going to fix the culture, but he's going to need a defensive coordinator. Now, I got 3 names for you. Candidate number 1, The dream reunion, Brian Flores. You remember when Brian Flores spent a year in Pittsburgh with Tomlin? They respect one another. They know how to work together. And I know there's some stuff going on with Brian Flores with the league and with the New York Giants and him getting a text that was meant for Brian Dable and all of that. They might work through that. If the money's right, if the system's right, if the setup is right, if Flores likes it here and he doesn't get a head coaching job, I think Mike Tomlin could convince him to come. Imagine with all the pieces that he has here. You got the Dexter Lawrence, you got Darius Alexander, you got Burns, Thibodeau, and Carter. Carter's a head case that got to be fixed, but I think Brian Flores could fix him. And I don't want to downplay Okereke either because he's a tackling machine. And then I think you got some nice, raw, young talent that needs to be developed in the secondary, but he's going to have to make sure he brings a good defensive backs coach with him or hire somebody to do that job and handle the back end of that defense because what we've been seeing has been insufficient. So if he doesn't get a head coaching job, I'd like to see Brian Flores here. He's one of the names. Imagine that aggression with Thibodeau, Burns, and Carter. That would be incredible. Candidate number 2. He's a trench guy, right? Carl Dunbar. He's the current Steelers defensive line coach. He's been with Tomlin for 4 years, and I sit in the stands and I watch our defensive line get pushed around the fourth quarter. It is frustrating. It is frustrating. The running holes, the running lanes that are opened up that allows these running backs to put us where we are the worst run defense in the league this year. We need somebody who is well-equipped, seasoned, and experienced at getting results in the running game. Dunbar is a master at developing toughness. I mean, he might be ready for the promotion right now. Like I said, he's a defensive line coach, but that might be a good fit for him. And then the third option that comes to mind is Ejiro Evero. Tomlin respects teachers, and Evero has done more with less in Carolina than anyone else. I mean, he runs a system that fits our personnel, too. And here's the key, and this is the most important part. Joe Shane cannot pick this person. Tomlin picks the defensive coordinator. And if Shane's involved, we screwed. I'm over Shane all the way. So that's the plan. Mike Tomlin at the head of the table. He should be our new head coach, if at all possible. Mike Kafka running the offense. And a guy like Brian Flores bringing the steel to that defense. Yo, that looks like a playoff team to me. That looks like all these one possession games that we lost this year, we could actually end up winning this year. That's what I would like to see. And I want to hear from you guys in the comments. If we hire Tomlin, who is your dream defensive coordinator? Who would you like to see running the defense with the New York Giants? Do you think Tomlin is the right head coach for us? Would you like to see Kafka remain on as our offensive coordinator? Do you like Spags? I mean, who do you like? Give me a name and help me to get to 1,000 subscribers. We at 847. We building the smartest Giants community on YouTube. I need y'all to help us to keep it going. And don't forget, y'all, check out our new merch. Go to nygbluezone.com. And for our first 5 sales, we're going to send you a free NYG Blue Zone coffee mug. So once you make that purchase, I'll have your information. I'll make sure I send you a mug. Thanks for spending some of your day with us. We appreciate y'all. Go Big Blue.
Yeah, a lot of girls probably crying from my old high school. Look, they see me everywhere they go. I probably would too. Look, crossed over to the Jordan man like I'm Michael. Yeah, eating blessings so much I might need lipo. Yeah, tailored for the doves like I'm walking in chucks. Yeah, it's just in this plan, man, I see how y'all shook. Look, knew that I was great ever since I was a rook. Man, all y'all singles making me look good. Okay, praise to the Most High, yeah, that's Jesus. Look, but when it come to this rap thing, I can't lose. Yeah, back-to-back number ones, that's the thing greats do. Yeah, tell them boys that ain't nothing I can't do. It's my year. It's my year.